Hi, this is Missy, and this is Missy Builds. And pretty much what happened is I decided to redo the front of my museum. I didn't like how it felt still lopsided, and I didn't like how you could still see the museum. So really, all of what you see here is just me taking everything back out and restarting just the front of the museum. I do end up having to do a little bit of fix up on the right hand side of the museum, but for the most part this is just me redoing the front. I wanted this ramp to go in closer to the museum, but it would not go. And after I saw this, I thought, I think I wanted it to go back one more space, which is what I end up doing, just the one more space to keep the ramp a little bit hidden behind the facade I put in the front. This is me just pulling out the cliffs next to it to make a little more room, but I just kept talking to Lloyd. So I decided what I would do would be just pay Lloyd off and go to the next day. So I time traveled, which I don't typically do, but I chose to do in this instance because it was irritating. So I come back up and I push these back, so that's all right next to the museum now. And essentially, this is just me moving almost everything over one space on the right hand side. But before I start doing that, I go ahead and come down here and put the code down in this area in front of the museum. Just that broken path code, because I wanted to get it done while I could still see it, because once I start putting the pieces in front of the museum, you won't be able to see back here very well, and I thought it would be a lot easier to put it down right now. So come back up, and this is when I start really actively moving everything over the one space, that pretty much the things that I had done to try to cover the lopsidedness, I undid. And of course it didn't go right, and because of the edge of the cliff, it wouldn't push over, so I had to replace it and working with it. And because with things still in place, I'm working with it, it's kind of small areas, so some of the bigger things are a little bit hard to get in. And so just moving my flowers over, moving the coat I had over. The biggest problem I had over here was my pockets end up running really full. And it's always best, if you just don't like how something is, just redo it, because otherwise you just keep sitting there looking at it and not liking it. Flower went right in where I was standing, of course, because that's how it does it. For some reason, I guess my brain thought I was putting in a bush. And you're going to see it happen again, because here I almost did it again. So I pop in a decorated ruined pillar here with one of the cucumber horses, just because I now have this extra space on this side. And I do have to fill it in because we don't want to have a completely open space too. At the back part of this right hand side. At the back part of this right hand side. So that I can put it back down. Above. So that I can put it back down. Above. So that I can put it back down. Above. So that I can put it back down. Above. So that I can put it back down. Above. So that I can put it back down. Because space. once again, because I could not believe my pockets were full, I guess. So I got the code back down that then I could tree and put it down so that then I can now pick up the leaves and finish the code. Like the wheat fields say, don't go down right the first time. Like the wheat fields say, don't go down right the first time. I realized I had 2 flowers the same color in the same spot, so I was switching them. Now I knew I needed to move. I was doing it over, but I wanted to put the code behind it first so I could see that I was doing it. And then I had, of course, the bush moved over 1 spot. Moved my flower over 1 spot. Then I realized I planted that in the wrong spot. And then I planted in the wrong spot again because the hole was there and I had the shovel out. So now you can see I've created that whole edge is where all the space moved to. Now I have to repair the parts I've taken apart. First, I'd like to finish this right hand, 1 space added on this right hand side. And for the most part, we're going to put flowers and some bushes in here. There's a few mushroom partitions that I've put in here. It was a little bit hard figuring out exactly what to put there in that 1 space I created. This is the last thing I really just have to move over 1 space. And of course I dug up the stunting pear tree when I was trying to dig a hole to plant the bamboo. When I originally put that in, I thought I needed that to fill up the space to get to the front, but as you'll see soon, I do end up taking that out. All of this had to be taking the one out on the, because it became lopsided by taking the one out on the right hand side. So I had to replace these just 1 space over, make up the difference. And since I put the right hand side, I need next to the medieval wall on the right hand side, I needed to put one on this side. So now put my ruined arches back down in. I started putting down the castle wall here, and I realized before I went much further, I wanted to get the path from this path I already have and connecting it to the path I already have. And in order to do so, I needed to take out the bamboo and push it back 1 spot. So this was just me marking it out, so when I put the code back down, I could see, okay, this is where the tree is at, and here's the stunting tree. So then I bought my decayed tree, buried it, because of course. I put my shovel away and put it down. Got it where I wanted, and then I discovered I was trapped, and still trapped, because of the 2 holes I'd buried. So I put my stunting tree down and my bamboo. Boom, done. Get the mushroom back in, and we're ready to put the code down for a path coming from the ramp over to the original path. And it's just a few codes here. It's just a little narrow path. It didn't have to be a whole lot, just enough to show that this is how you get into the museum. And with that, I realized I could pull that over 1 more spot. So that's what we did. So I put in another castle wall, and I wanted to layer this a bit, so I put in the storefront and put in another. Then I realized it was crowding on the side, so I had to pull it over. I picked up that wall because it was in the way. This is when I realized I didn't have enough room, so I picked up the original castle wall and just turned it this way. Then I put the other 2 storefronts up, and it was time to put in the doorway, the faux doorway, into the ruin that the museum wants to look like. I was trying to line it up with the arch before, because both the arches are going to match each other. do have to dig up these flowers because everything did move forward a little bit because of this change. So I put my ruined art back in and I've got everything lined up. And I was going to push this over and I put another one and then I realized I don't have even sides. So I realized I need to push this all over just one space again so that I end up with the same thing on each side. So got a couple more panels to finish this off on both sides. And that's looking like I want it to look. I was just checking it out, making sure it was covering up the museum from the front. I'm going to pop a decayed pillar in with a cucumber horse. Because the people who built these things loved the cucumber horses and the eggplant cows. So I pulled out because the tree wouldn't fit with it there. And when I was trying to put the pine tree in over here, I just could not figure out what was keeping it from going in. It wasn't the wheat field. It wasn't this pile of leaves. Turns out it was that pile of leaves. So I got both of my pine trees back in and I took a step back to take a look at it just to see it to look. Making sure it was looking like I wanted it to look. Since there was a little side step to get through there because of where the tree was placed, I moved the bush back. So I have this little area that's left over here to try to fill up and make all coherent. I'm looking back and we're trying to figure out exactly how to do it. Here I put my flower in and then went back over here. I thought I'm going to finish back here. And at first I thought a wheat field, but I decided right here I would put that other mush partition that I had. And it took me 2 tries, but I did get it to go in there. And then I started putting my flowers down. And slowly working my way back up to the front, filling these areas up. Once again, I fell for the flower goes where you're standing, not in front of you. I just wanted to have a flower back here. I don't necessarily think you're going to be able to see them, but just in case, I wanted it decorated. So looking at both sides, making sure things are looking even, not looking lopsided, and then continuing to put down flowers, codes, and the wheat field that I had. Wanted to get a flower and there wouldn't go. Then I realized I had 2 black roses next to each other. So I needed to dig up the first one. And so I went and got this purple flower to put back here so that I wouldn't have the black roses next to each other. Put my leaf pile back down. Put a code down here. And taking a look at how things are looking. So I came back down here, and in this area, I just wanted to cover up the museum just a smidge more down when you're in here. If you come down in here, there's only so much one can do. The castle wall did not fit right next to the museum, so I had to back up a spot. But yeah, I was really liking how well it covered the museum. The museum, all of the buildings really in the game are just too brightly colored for the swamp area. I needed to pull out that bush. It wouldn't fit to pull over my tree a little bit so I could put in these ruined pillars. I just needed a better view since I was working so close. Wanted to change out this code. I didn't want my ruined pillar sitting right on the grass by itself, especially because it's so visible right here at the front. So I put the code down so that it would be under the pillar, and I realized I couldn't get my arch right back where I wanted it. So to pull that one forward, push it back, making sure where things will fit. Both my pillars in, looks good. Put my other arch back down now that I was done with that. And traded out those bushes. More eggplant cows, because these people loved eggplant cows. And that was it. So this is what the museum looks like now after this retrofit. And you can see the whole area. And I think it's looking really good. And I really like how well it is covered. And I hope that y'all like it too. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And come back next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.